Hi, I'm Larry Allred. Welcome to Inspired by Pinterest, where I browse around Pinterest looking for amazing crafty ideas and bring them to life each week on an episode here on my craft channel. Today we're going to be talking about my latest obsession, and for those of you who know what these are, I'm sorry, and those who don't, again, I'm sorry again, because you're going to love this. You're going to want to do this. In fact, I have so much information I had to break it into two parts. So this week I'll cover, I guess I should tell you what we're covering, Midori's and Traveler's Notebooks. Now you're probably wondering, what the heck are those? So Midori actually is a brand from Thailand of these leather books. Now I don't have an actual Midori, I have a couple knockoffs, so they call them Fudoris. So this is a bit of a knockoff. This isn't, they're just a really simple leather cover with notebooks inside that can be removed. That's the part I love, is you can actually change these notebooks out after you've used them up. You can put them aside, put a different notebook in, and just keep using them. So for all my artist friends, my lister friends, my calendar type people, this is for you. You're going to love it. So now the thing that I love about the Midoris, and I'm going to fork out the money one of these days, is it's just a raw piece of leather, a really nice quality piece of leather that's meant to get scratched up and worn so it looks really used, and I just haven't invested in it. So I went on the hunt to figure out how I can do this on my own. So let me show you a few examples of Midoris and what's out there. They come in different sizes, of course, colors, styles, and whatnot. So the first link I want to go to, I actually have a board called Midori's, Fudoris, and Traveler's Notebooks Pinterest board. So we're going to start there. The first pin I'm going to talk about is from penpaperinkletter.com. It explains where Midori's came from. So if you want to know more about that, go check that out. But let's get into the cute, the colorful, the things that appeal to all of us paper crafters. So Happy Scrappy at bigcartel.com. She does some darling Fudoris, and they're usually neon. So I actually did create a Fudori just out of some, I don't remember what they call it, it's vinyl. It's inexpensive, and I just created my own. And actually the inside, believe it or not, is just that foam, fun foam, and it's adhesive, so I wanted to give it a little bit more weight. Super easy to do. I whipped this baby out in less than 20 minutes. It was super fun, and I loved how it turned out. So, and you can also purchase these from most of these links that I've mentioned, but I'm going to show you how to make your own here in a minute. So I kind of got hooked on this when Christy Tomlinson posted these darling, cute, and I believe hers are made out of fabric. Link to her site I'll have on mine, so allreddesign.net. You can go on any of the pins I mentioned, I linked to. So she actually has an online tutorial that you can purchase and learn how to do your own. So there's that. And then of course these are cute fabric ones. They call them fabric dories. Now you can actually purchase a ton of these. If you go onto Etsy and Google Fudori or Midori, you can actually find some really cute things on there. These cute ones from Jen Henson Designs on Etsy are only $22. So if you're not super crafty, don't want to go to the trouble, just order it. But if you want to learn about Midori's and Traveler's Notebooks, I'm going to tell you the number one source I found everything was this video from theresetgirl.com. theresetgirl.com. It's a 54-minute video, but she covers everything, and then she links to everything. So I'll give you a link to that video if you'd like to go watch that and learn more about that. But let's get into what I've learned from this. So I'm going to put this aside because I don't need this anymore for the links, and let's talk about this. So of course they come in different sizes, and this is probably the most common one. These are actually from the Midori brand. I ordered these off Amazon.com. These are the inserts, of course, because I was too cheap to order the cover. And then they have all types of different fun inserts. So this one I believe is a grid pattern inside, and in next week's episode I'm going to show you how to make your own inserts. And then this is a really fun kind of credit card item. In fact, let me pull this out so I can show you what I'm talking about. Now invest in these just because they're not something I can replicate. So these are meant to wrap around the book so that when you put it in, you've got this extra storage in your book. So here's an example of what's inside. These I made inserts. This is just a notebook. This other one's a grid one, and they're both attached in here with the elastics. So, and then I have my pen just hanging off the edge. And then of course this elastic keeps it all contained in one place. So this one I purchased off eBay for a very inexpensive price because like I said, it's just kind of a knockoff. It's a smaller size, as you can tell. These are probably my latest obsession. So these are my fabric dories that I absolutely had a ball making, and we're going to walk you through how easy these are to make. So, and you can embellish them with whatever you want. So inside here I have some Midori items that I purchased. This cute folder wraps around this one here, so on the other side I have a pocket as well. And then in the middle is a booklet that I made that just has a mix mash of different pages and inserts. And then of course more that I made, and so great way to use up your stash of scrapbook paper. Washi tape, you can decorate. The Midoris come in this just this plain crafty color, so you can decorate them. I just add a little washi tape to this cute one that has grids, and then here's another one I made of my own that has grids, so and dots and lines. Look at that. So let me show you. In most of the notebooks they come with 2 rubber bands so that you can add, oh look, here's my other favorite insert. This is a little pocket keeper that wraps around a booklet. So these I ordered all on Amazon. This one is my calendar. So I created this cute monthly calendar from a printable. And then of course these others are just to-do lists and notebooks. And they go in, let me show you how fun this is. So with these 2 bands, so a traditional, when you get these, they're usually empty. They typically have 2 bands. You can purchase ones with 4. And then you just take your notebooks that either you've made or purchased and wrap them right inside of that band. Super easy. So if you do it this way, you only get 2 in here. If you purchase, you can purchase an extra band or you can make your own. You can actually put 4 in by putting this band around these 2 and creating a bigger book of sorts. So see, I have a spine between those 2 books, and then they're going to tuck right nicely in the middle of here. So you've got that, and then I just had the wrapped. They also have cute dashboards you can wrap around that it just protects your booklets. So this I'll just tuck right into this one. Super fun. This is upholstery fabric that I really dug. I didn't actually add the band in the middle because I created this pen holder for it that just wraps around the front. And this is actually a hair clip that I thought was super cute. So this I just keep here so I know where my pen is all the time. It keeps it together. Throw it in your bag. You've got your cute, and I just thought this was really cute on here. So I've got that cute book. This is probably my favorite. This is the cute penny rose fabric that I adore. It's from Riley Blake. It's their sister company. And then I just embellished the band with some cute tassels. You'll see a lot on the Midori examples are these tassels, and I absolutely love them. And I'm going to talk to you about some sources for that. So in this one, I did the same thing. I have 2 books together with 1 band so that I could fit 4 books in here. There are some tutorials that you can go to online that'll show you how to set up your Midori, different ideas, and I mean seriously, you could spend weeks and weeks and weeks learning about this. I just started getting busy and playing with it. And this one I actually created my own bookmark so that I had a little tag in here. And then I also need to add a pin to this. I thought I had one. So I love that. This edges, I don't actually sew it and turn it. I'm going to show you how I do that. And I like that it looks a little bit rough and a little bit loved. So I love the fabric ones. I have a lot of fun with that. They're super easy to do. You're going to want to purchase. So what I first did is sizes are important. So I have a couple of charts. I'll link to these. I have a sizing chart that tells me how big the inserts and the covers are. And I'm a visual person, so this showed me the different sizes comparative to other sizes. The one I do the most is probably the regular size. It's 210 centimeters by 110. And that took me a while to figure out. So I created a pattern for my cover. And then this is a Pellon that you can purchase at any craft store. It is fusible on both sides. It's really, really thick. And thanks to Amy Chappell, she actually told me what to use. And I love it. It's perfect for what I need. So I just measure that out, take my pencil. I just draw right on it because I don't have patience. And then we're going to take the scissors. So just cut that to the size you want. I suggest cutting the Pellon to the size that you want, but not your fabric quite yet. So from here, now this is going to create the size that I've shown you with those two examples over there. And then just pick out some fabric. I've done a couple actually with this cute penny rose. I'm going to pull out some other stash I have. This is some Adorn It fabric that I loved. That I don't know if any of you do this, but I purchased it with not knowing what I'm going to do with it. So we're going to iron one side. I actually prefer, just in case the heat goes through and it activates the adhesive on this side, I highly suggest adding both pieces of fabric before you do this. So I'm going to say the blue is going to look really awesome. You just want to use your iron on high heat. No steam is required. Just make sure you fuse those two pieces on the fabric onto those. So just add pressure to it is the key. I'm going to move it along. This is a great product. I was really thrilled how this turned out and the thickness of it. It works really great for these faux fabric dories. So this one is, remember, this is my larger one, so it's 210 centimeters tall. Actually, it's a little bit taller because that's my insert size by 110 when it's folded. So once I do that, I'm going to trim the fabric off around so it matches that size. When I get done, it will look similar to this finished piece. So this one I actually rounded the corners and then I stitched twice with my sewing machine. You can't even see it on camera, but I stitched twice around here just to kind of give it a little bit of, I don't know why I stitched. I think it looks pretty. I'm not sure it's super functional. And then I purchased this awesome product. It's called Fray Check. And it's like an adhesive for fabric. I ran it along the edge here to just keep it from fraying a ton. I don't mind the frayed look, so maybe that stitching's really awesome when it does fray quite a bit. I don't think with the Fray Check I'm going to have as much of a problem. Yeah. So now once you get that finished, you're going to want to pull out your Japanese screw punch or an anywhere hole punch, and we're going to actually add the holes that the rubber band's going to go through. So I go in about, you're going to want to find the center of your piece, and I'll tell you this T-square was a lifesaver for this project. I used it quite a bit. So, and I actually like to use the centimeters a little bit better than the inches. So we're going to go right about, go ahead and run it. We're going to do a center 26. I'm doing math in my head on air. I don't know if that's a good idea. A center piece, and then I'm going to do another one down here and another one up here. Go in about a 1/2 inch on the top. And some of the Midoris have the 2 holes punched vertical, and here I did them vertical to show you what I'm talking about. Doesn't really matter, it's just a preference thing. On this one I did them horizontal because I wanted to do the eyelets. I thought it looked cute. I even added the button just for decorative purposes. It serves actually no functional purpose. So once I've done that, I'm going to determine where I want my, and the same thing applies. You're going to want these holes at the bottom for your bands. And on the fabric, it goes through the leather really awesome. So once you do that, you're going to do your holes, and then you're going to add an eyelet. Now let me tell you, the eyelet story is pretty funny. I tore apart my house looking for small eyelets. Do you think I could find small eyelets anywhere in my house? These itty bitty ones that I'm not even sure what size they are. Luckily I found them at Joann's. Not the 3/16 inch, they're small ones. So I hunted and hunted, and I pulled out this, I don't know, this is a blast from the past, people. So I pulled out my silent setter from Provo Craft that I've had for years, and inside of it was a stash of small little eyelets that worked out great. So I like setting them in the fabric specifically. You don't really have to do this in any of the faux or the leather because it holds it really well in there. But you will want to do it in your fabric just because I think it looks more finished. It's a preference thing. Maybe you don't care about that. So once you set the eyelets, you'll want to run your string through it. So let's show you how we do that real quick. So I'm going to show you the covers this week. Next week I'm going to talk about inserts. So for sake of example, Super easy to do, and I have to show you this really awesome trick I learned from one of my sites. So I'm actually going to pretend like I have never added this to it. So, and I'm going to pull out some new. So now you're going to want to use 2mm elastic. This is 3. It's the flat. It works fine. Or you have the rounded. Make sure you have elastic. You can purchase all different colors and styles, typically at a fabric store. Now, getting this 3mm through this itty bitty hole is somewhat of a challenge. So I learned this really fun technique from a YouTube video. I have a looped string through my needle. And I'm just going to, it's kind of like making the eyelet part of my needle larger. I'm actually going to pull that through, and it pulls it right through to the other side. Just keep doing that until you have that fished all the way through. This works great, especially on tiny holes. I had to do this on the faux leather, and I like to keep using the same one. So probably my most favorite tip I've learned putting these together was that, because it made my life super awesome, easy. So just keep that aside. Now when you tie this together, your fabric dory, whatever type of service you want, you're going to want to pull it tight enough that it starts to bow a little bit. Just a little bit. It doesn't have to bow a ton, because you want that tension. You want them to hold in your books really well. So make sure it bows a little as you tie it. And you kind of get a feel for this after you've made a few, what's going to work after you put your notebooks in. Some I actually took apart and redid. The elastic was so inexpensive. So I'm just going to tie this in a square knot and then just trim off the excess. Super quick and easy to do. And then you can just add your notebooks in. And that'll flatten out your Midori. Super, love that. Easy to do. And then I'll show you in the next episode how to make your own pen holder. And again, you can go back and look at any of the episodes or the links that I've given. This is where I learned how to do all of this and learned about all the sources and whatnot. So we'll see you next week to talk about inserts and embellishments on your Midori and faux dories. So thanks for joining me. We'll see you later.